Hey everyone, Jeremy here. It is Tuesday night and we're going to create some art. It is going to be awesome. I appreciate you guys showing up. There's a couple of people in the chat room already. It's always great when we have people to chat with. I want to give a shout out to Rome Dog, who is one of our perennial fixtures here. We always love Rome Dog. And we have OK Larry in the house, safe and sound after wrestling alligators probably earlier this week. We also have kids, so that's great. Hey, I'm super excited to be here. I kind of wanted to do something fall related, but then I started thinking about it. I'm like, I'm not ready to give up on summer yet. We still got some decent warm temperatures outside, so it's not feeling like fall to me yet. The leaves haven't really started changing around here. So I'm not in the fall mood yet. I'm almost there. I want to like light some candles, get some pumpkin spice drinks in me and stuff like that, but not there yet. So then I started thinking about like, well, what else do I want to draw? And I do draw quite a few animals. So I literally typed into Google, what is the cutest animal on the earth? And what came up, at least in my search results, was the Fennec fox. And I just fell in love with this creature. It's like a little tiny fox that lives in the desert of the North Africa, Sahara deserts and stuff. It's super adorable. It kind of looks like a cross between a cat. It's got these like gigantic ears. It's got a little tiny face, kind of like cat-like, but also a little bit like a mouse or small creature of that sort. So anyway, I fell in love with it. I thought, hey, I don't care. I'm just here to drink the bourbon anyway. So let's draw us a Fennec fox. So if that's cool with you guys, let's get to it. So, so I got my blank piece of paper here. I kind of figured out where I want him to be. The reference photo that I've got, you've got like the Fennec fox, but he's also sitting on like a little sawed-off log. And I thought that'd be kind of cool picture because there's some texture in it that might be fun to draw. So I'm just going to do that. I don't know how much detail I can get in this guy because he does have kind of a tiny head. That's like one of his signature features, which makes him adorable. But I'm gonna try it anyway. So we're doing an FF drawing tonight. Some of you guys might catch that reference. But yeah, so a fine for a fox, guys. Let's do it. So I'm just gonna jump right in. Like I said, his face is super tiny, so I'm gonna start with his head. And like always, I start with trying to get some of the form in there with some super light, charcoal. We'll get his face in here. Hey, we got Tyler in here too. Cool. I ain't seen you in a while, Tyler. Well, I see you all the time, but I haven't seen you in my chat in a while. So how you doing, buddy? Tyler is going to be. I forget the date. I think it's. I want to say Thursday. Tyler, feel free to tell them about your interview that you're supposed to be doing, or it's supposed to be on air. I think Thursday, but I might have that wrong. He's supposed to tell me so that I can go and watch it. But anyway, he did like an interview for the place he works at, and Tyler also plays music. If you guys didn't know that, he plays guitar. He's pretty good at it too. And the place where he works at, he does some music there, live music, in addition to basically being a cowboy. That's what Tyler is. He's a cowboy. So I think it'll be pretty cool. He works at a place that in Montana, not Wyoming, Montana. I think he does. Yeah, and the place he works at is kind of a like a residency for artists. So like if you're an artist who is looking to be put up for a while in beautiful cowboy country out in Montana/Wyoming, I think it's like around there. I don't know, but it's really beautiful. Like I've seen pictures of the place and stuff. Anyway, talk to Tyler, look that place up. I think it'd be cool. Like if I didn't have a life here, I would love to go out there and just kind of see the world out there while I'm doing art. Just finding some peace and quiet out there in the Rocky Mountains. Maybe start drawing some buffalo for real. That'd be cool. Here we go, Huli in the house. Nice. Yeah, I'm having a great week. I don't know. It's been a really great week for me so far. I have no reason to say that. Like it's not like I can point to a specific reason and say, "Hey, it's been a great week for me." But it just feels I don't know. I've just been in a good mood lately. I guess I don't know. Maybe saying I'm in a good mood is a little bit too much. It's more like I'm not in a bad mood. So I'm in the absence of a bad mood. Hey, we got Willy Nilly too. Cool. Yeah, we have a big old party in here. Yep, just drawing a Fennec fox. Now, don't ask me to tell you too much about these guys because I don't know. In fact, I only learned of these guys today. I feel like I've seen a picture of them before in my life at some point, but I don't know anything about them. I know that they live in North Africa because I figure somebody might ask, in the deserts of North Africa. So they're like a desert fox. I just like saying the word Fennec fox. It's just kind of cool. The FF just kind of rolls off the tongue. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. It's probably not Fennec. It's probably like Fennec or something. I don't know. Yeah, Willy Nilly knows what these are. Cool. Yeah, I figure somebody might be familiar with it. I mean, they're adorable. Like I like foxes in general. Foxes are great. I've done a couple of foxes on the show. Um, did one in Pen and Ink. Did that one wood burning one. A couple of foxes and stuff. I think the biggest difference here is that they had big heads. This guy's got like a little tiny head. I would love to have this guy as a pet, honestly. Like he feels like I don't know. He feels like one of those dogs that you can fit in your purse. I don't have a purse, but you know what I'm talking about. Like the celebrities walk around with the dogs in their purses. Um, I feel like if you had one of these guys, he would fit perfectly. I don't know if they're domesticated though. Like I feel like if you went off and picked up one of these somewhere out in the wild and stuff, you're probably doing a bad thing. Like I don't think regular foxes are domesticated either. I don't think people keep foxes as pets. Like in any case. Um, you know, dogs and cats have like hundreds of centuries or whatever of like, you know, living with human beings to draw on and stuff. That's why they're easily domesticated. Um, you can't really just like go out and get a wolf, for example, from the wild and expect it to be your pet. It just doesn't work. Um, scientists can tell you why. I don't really know. I've seen documentaries on it and stuff. Okay, Larry totally believes I have a man purse. I have a man purse. I keep all my art supplies in it. Uh, I call it a haversack. Nah, yeah, I wish I had a man purse. Like I'm not going to deny it. I wish I had a man purse. Um, like those things seem super convenient. Or it says, "Where's Bob?" I don't know who Bob is. You mean the dog? They've been calling my dog Bob because he has like she has a small head, like the Bob from nobody's gonna get your reference. It's a Bob is a character from the Beetlejuice movie. But anyway, yeah, I would love to have a man purse. That would be awesome. Oh, Bob Ross. Oh, he's up here. He's hard to see. I'm gonna have to pull him down and show people later on. But I have a little stop Bob Ross. Okay, that's what he's talking about. Sorry, I didn't get the reference. He's up there. He's on the top of the shelf. Maybe I'll if I remember to when I'll show him off. I'm trying to draw a Fennec fox here, people. You guys are distracting me. By you people, I mean Ernest, who happens to be my dad, in case you guys are new in here. Yeah, they have an artist retreat registration tab in Montana section of his website. So, like, if you're interested in participating in some sort of like artistic retreat thing out in Montana, yeah, Montana, um, Tyler has that info, which I think is kind of cool. I mean, like I said, if I didn't have other responsibilities in my day-to-day life that has nothing to do with art, like if I was just a full-time artist with no responsibilities, man, that just sounds awesome. That's what I'm going to be when I win the lottery. I'm just going to be an artist for like full-time. Just draw a bunch of pictures like 24/7. Man, that does not sound like a bad lifestyle. That sounds ideal. Like, I don't know, people have different things that they like to do to relax and stuff, like go to the beach, go on a nice trip somewhere, go on a cruise. Mine's just sitting out in the woods drawing. That sounds really nice. And by woods, I mean the wilds of Montana. It's a beautiful place. I just recently watched Legends of the Fall again. So, like, if you guys have ever seen that movie with Brad Pitt and Aiden Quinn and whoever the dude is who played Elliot in E.T., that's a good movie. Anthony Hopkins. I just recently watched that again. I think that takes place in Montana. I don't think it's Wyoming. Beautiful country. Yeah, Willie. Well, Willie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That sounds like that is a great dream. I feel like Willie and I's got a lot of common. Just go out there, draw some pictures, let the world just kind of do its own thing. World ain't gonna harm you if you ain't harming it. Let it be. Draw some Fennec foxes. Now I gotta go to like the Sahara though, so that I can draw these guys in person. That'd be great. Hey, we got Alan Kay in the house, man. I haven't seen you in a while. Can you glue a mini pro on the wood stick figure? Yeah, I need to do that. Yeah, let me find a pro somewhere. Um, I like that suggestion, Alan. I didn't even think about that. So it's kind of hard to see, but I've got a little Bob Ross doll back here in the back. My folks gave it to me as a gift because they know I love Bob Ross. Bob Ross is my favorite artist. Um, Obviously, there's artists that I think make better art in some ways and stuff, but just as a person, I love Bob Ross. Um, yeah, it's hard to say who my actual favorite artist is if I was like, and I'd have to think about the context really because like just in sheer geniusness, hands down, Leonardo da Vinci is my favorite artist. But also, his art isn't my favorite art. So Leonardo da Vinci might be my favorite artist, but I wouldn't say his art is my favorite art. Um, there's so many artists that I like that are so similar. It would be very difficult to say which one of them actually stands out. It's more like the genre of art or something like that. Like for example, I really like impressionists and I like people who are like very loose with their style. Some of the artists that Forrest Fenn represented, for example, like Jay Sharp, Nikolai Fechin. These are some of the people I've learned to appreciate. I didn't realize that I really liked them until I got into that kind of art. Um, but even before that, I like people who really you know like show high contrast between lights and darks and things like that. And for that, I would have to lean on Rembrandt is one of my favorite artists who's just a master of light. I love that kind of art. Now, would I ever be able to do that kind of art myself? No, probably not. But still my favorite. Still somebody I aspire to. So as far as artists go, contemporary artists certainly. We got Bob Ross. But going back in the day, we got like Leonardo da Vinci, and then when we're looking at the actual art itself, it's like all over the board. I just love all kinds of art. Anyway, you can kind of see the little guy's face in here already. Got a ways to go, but he's getting in there. Again, he's got such a small head. I'm not sure how much detail I'm going to be able to get in here, but we're gonna give it a shot. I want him kind of in his natural habitat, so I want like the full little Fennec. I mean, he's a small guy anyway, so like if I phoned it in and didn't do his entire body and just did his face, I feel like that would be a disservice. Rum Dog likes HR. I can't pronounce that. Geiger. And correct me if I'm wrong, but he does the kind of style of art like you'd see in Aliens, for example, the biomorphism kind of almost like human insect kind of creatures. I think I'm familiar with him. Yeah, aliens. Yeah, I think he actually designed the alien creatures. I'm not sure, or maybe there's just some like overlap in the style or something. I don't recall. I do like his stuff. I think it's really cool. But yeah, I mean, people's yeah. Willie says I like certain paintings. Starry Night is awesome. Very very much so. Van Gogh, absolutely. Van Gogh in general is just really cool. I like his style. It's a shame that he didn't really like see success in his own lifetime because now he's like the one of like well probably the most well-known artist, especially from like a commercial standpoint. Like there might be artists who are better known, like everybody knows Leonardo da Vinci except for my niece. Um, I told that story before. Like she had no idea who Leonardo da Vinci was, and I was like, "Oh man, that's just sad." Um, but from like a commercial standpoint, like Van Gogh's art has been like on everything from shower curtains to like pillowcases to prints on the wall. From like a like just a commercial standpoint, um, Van Gogh is probably the most successful artist, and he never saw a penny of that. It all came after he passed away. It's kind of sad. But I like his style. There is a painting of his. I forget the name of it, but I watched some YouTube shows. There's like if you guys are actually interested in art, I can recommend this one. It's kind of like a short podcast. I haven't seen them make anything recently, so I don't know if they're like all done. But they have a pretty big library anyway. Like if you want to go back and watch back episodes, they're all like short documentaries on individual pieces of art or artists in general, but focused on an individual piece. Um, like for example, they might talk about Mark Rothko, for example, but they'll focus on a particular piece by Mark Rothko, and it's Art Explained, I think, is the name of the YouTube show. If anybody's really interested, just shoot me like a I don't know, like an email or something like that. I'll look it up, but I think it is Great Art Explained. I think that's the name of it, and it's really good. It doesn't take like a lot of investment in time. They're all like short pieces and stuff, but they go into depth on like individual pieces, pieces that I've seen in books and stuff, and I never really knew the backstory to them. Um, they'll talk about the like the Wanderer. Have you guys ever seen that one? I forget who does it, but the guy he's standing out looking over the mountains and fogs, and I think he's a Bavarian guy, maybe German, just looking out over the expanse of the mountains, and the piece is called The Wanderer. It's really great, and they they'll take that piece and they'll kind of explain it in like the historical context. That one happened to be like, co-opted by the bad Germans. So maybe that's not a perfect example. But they'll go over like all of that type of stuff. It's a really good channel. I'm happy to recommend it. Like I said, I'm not sure if they put out anything recently. I'd have to double check. At least I don't really recall. But if you ever wanted to know the backstory of some of your favorite art, was that Gustav Klimt, The Kiss? They had one of those. I watched that. That was pretty interesting. I didn't know anything about that artist. Um, of course I probably am not pronouncing these things correctly. I suck at that kind of stuff. I'm just a dumb guy who like was raised mostly in the South. So like when it comes to like European names, I have no idea how to pronounce these things, like foreign languages and stuff like that. I know a little bit of Spanish. I like took that in school, but I failed it like twice. So I can ask where the bathroom is in Spanish, and I'm probably going to pronounce that wrong too. So I apologize to anybody's cultures who I'm offending with my mispronunciation of words and your favorite artists and your favorite artwork and things like that. I mean no harm. But yeah, there's like a huge variety of different art that I like, and it's tough to call what art what type of art I think is more successful than others. I guess that's all context dependent. The problem is like everything is, this is my core philosophy actually, that everything, almost everything in life is context dependent. So like if you ask me what is the best, um, then my first reaction is to ask you to define your terms. Like, what do you mean by best? Like, in what context? What are we talking about here? Because like I do feel like everything is context dependent. Um, I'm I don't know, contextualist is the right term, but I really feel like I'm that way, where it's hard for me to like make any kind of just like general statement. I have to put it in the context of like different things. So like when you ask me what's the best art, best in terms of realism, best in terms of style, best in terms of like success in their historical period. Um, there's all these different considerations and stuff like that. It really makes me tough to like talk to. Like I feel sorry for everybody I know, and it's largely because they are everybody I know, right? So the common denominator is that they have some sort of relationship to me. I feel sorry for everybody who does, and I apologize to them constantly. But I probably am tough to talk to, because like if somebody just wants me to like pick something, it's very tough for me too. I make the joke all the time, and I'm serious about it because I do have that sort of problem. If I go into like Baskin Robbins for like 31 flavors, I'll probably end up getting vanilla just because I'll end up having trouble deciding what it is that I want. I have, I don't know what the technical term is for that, but I have trouble making decisions. Usually, like whenever I do actually make a decision about something, I just kind of close my eyes and just say, "Yeah, let's go with that and hope for the best." So when it comes to like, what's your favorite art and stuff, I'll have a, well, I'm doing it now. I'll have a 2 hour conversation about what my favorite art is and stuff, and then end up not coming to any kind of clear conclusion. All the pretty ones, yeah, that's my favorite art. Oh, Kid is helping us on with the Xavier treasure hunt. Hey, yeah, I should really promote that for people who don't know, which I don't think is most of you guys, but I do have some people who wander in here from other channels who don't know me from like the treasure hunting communities. Um, so one of the things I get up to besides drawing art, for those who don't know, people who don't know me very well, is I one of my pastimes, hobbies, whatever you want to call it, is puzzle solving and treasure hunts. So there's these modern day treasure hunts, and there's like a ton of them. They're like little armchair treasure hunts. They're usually like in the form of a book or some other sort of puzzle that these things are often on the internet, like somebody put a puzzle on the internet or something, and you solve it, and you get like, I don't know, just like kudos or accolades or like pat yourself on the back for a job well done. Sometimes there's money involved, but usually these are like small like treasure hunts that have like no real consequence. Now, some of the ones that I get up to, like those are really big ones. Um, yeah, Hater has been MIA. If anybody knows where Hater's at, like chime in, Hater. We miss you. Need a proof of life, and then you can go back to um, your holiday or whatever. Um, but anyway, so these treasure hunts are they're kind of fun, and I don't participate in all of them, but it is something, it keeps the mind active. It keeps you thinking about things. I love problem solving. I'm a huge fan of Sherlock Holmes. Um, so like anytime there's like a puzzle, I'm just all on that. And some of these things they have like a history on the internet. So one is like The Secret. If you guys ever watch Expedition Unknown with Josh Gates, you might know of The Secret. But it's a book that was put out in like the 1980s, by a guy named Byron Priest, and the illustrations were by a guy named John Jude Palankar. I think that's right. And there were like 12 of them, 12 paintings, and you were supposed to try to figure out from the painting what all the different clues were so that you can go and find this treasure out there in the real world, where you dug it up and it's like a little container or something, and it had a little key in there, and you could exchange the key for like a real gemstone. And like these were all kinds of different gemstones, one for each So there might be a diamond, there might be like an emerald, or I think there were themes to the different gems or something, but I'm not really sure. I obviously I've never solved any of these things, but there were 12 of them put out there in the world. One of them was found pretty quickly. I think it was the one in Chicago. Like that was found back in the early 80s or whenever this treasure hunt started. It was during Byron Priest's lifetime. He died tragically short from like a car accident or something like that. So he's not around anymore. But the illustrator is. He's still out there. But anyway, these things kind of like were forgotten. Like they were put out there in the 80s and like buried out in various different cities. Like people think they're in like San Francisco, New York. There's 12 of them in total. And people kind of forgot about them. And, decades turned into decades. And they just kind of were just out there in the ground and people forgot about them until the internet came along, right? And people are on the internet, they obsess over things, and there started being this like little treasure hunt community of people who wanted to solve the secret. And they started bulletin boards back in the early internets, and they started their like little discussion communities and stuff like that, and tried to solve them. And lo and behold, not all of them were lost to the sands of time, I guess. There's been, I want to say, three more found since back then, at least two. One as recently as 2019, I believe, in Boston, and it's kind of cool because I don't think any of these new ones would have been found had it not been for the resurgence of it on the internet. Yeah, that's right, Rome. That's right. Hader was kind of recovering because he had been in an accident. Hopefully he's doing fine. Maybe he recovered from the accident and he's out there living life. Like maybe he was just watching this while he was recovering, which is great. Like that's actually awesome. Like if any of you guys ever get injured out there and just want to watch this show just to feel better, that's awesome. But yeah, so there was that secret treasure hunt. So that was a big one. I'm kind of interested in that one. I don't have any good ideas on how to solve that one. It's just like one of the things that you think about. There's like mythical treasure hunts as well. Like everybody's heard of like Oak Island. There's like a TV show on that and stuff. So one of the big ones that I actually involved myself with was the Force Fin treasure hunt. That one was really cool. So I got started with that in 2015, and I would take a bunch of different trips out to the Rocky Mountains to try my hand at finding that treasure. Never found anything. I thought I was pretty close to finding. I thought that I thought I was real close actually. Turns out I wasn't. I wasn't even in the right state because it was eventually found. It was like $1 million in gold. Actually, almost 2 million in gold, and just out there in the Rocky Mountains, sitting out there in the woods. Anybody could have passed upon it and found it. Many tried. Nearly everybody failed except for one guy. He ended up finding it. But I thought it was pretty close. Turns out I wasn't. And that one was found, so you can't go looking for that one anymore. But there's anyway, long story short, like I've been talking about this for like probably how are we doing? Yeah, about 20 minutes or so. Long story short, there are other ones out there. There's another $2 million treasure hunt starting up soon, like in October. Bunch of stuff like Bitcoin, gold, like memorabilia, a lot of cool stuff for that. But there's also smaller ones, and I wouldn't really say Xavier Marks is small. That's the one I wanted to talk about because it actually relates to art. Um, I wouldn't say it's small. It's just less money. Like, what is it, 10 grand or something? A surprise? I don't think that's actually small. That's like medium-sized treasure hunt. But yeah, supposedly if you solve the Xavier Marks treasure hunt, so you can YouTube that. Like if anybody's actually interested, I can post a link to it at some point. But if you are interested in that, you can YouTube that, and there's a lot more information about it. But yeah, I think like I haven't really gotten into it myself. I don't have the time to at the moment, but it is related to art and artists. There's there's some Bob Ross stuff in there. There's other painters in there and stuff, and um, yeah, it remains unsolved. And I think it's worth 10 grand. So you guys could be the lucky person if you think that you're good at that kind of stuff, solving puzzles, figuring out, the mystery behind things. Got to be better at it than I am because I am not good. Every time I try one of these things, I stopped spending a lot of money on it. I stopped buying books and things like that. Um, like I said, there's that new one starting up in October. That's is Xavier Mark's Armchair. That's a great question. I think it's largely armchair. Like I think you can solve it from home, but I think you actually have to go there to like retrieve whatever it is. I don't know enough about it to say whether there's like a proxy item or whatever, but I think people are looking at New York, so I think you actually have to go to New York to get that one. There's probably some people who know more about it than I do. Yeah, but it's on the ground for Forest Fan cost me a small fortune. So I don't have a ton of money, right? So the way I kind of resolve that is I like camping. So I spend a lot of time camping on those things, and I have great stories because of it. Like you know, I love to draw wildlife. Well, I saw so much wildlife on those trips just by camping. But the other thing about camping is you can't bring a bunch of camping gear with you on a plane. So I probably could have afforded plane tickets. Um, but because I had all that camping gear, I was like, well, I'm just going to throw it back in the back of my car and drive. And I wanted to go with my brother and both of my brothers and my dad, and have a big family male bonding moment out there in the woods and stuff like that. So it was just easier to drive. And I'm happy I did because I got to see, the country. The if you want to know the United States, you really should take a road trip. And I don't mean like a road trip like where you drive 10 hours down the road. I'm talking about cross country. I'm talking about like even if you live in California, you should fly to New York and get rent a car to drive all the way to California or vice versa. You want to see the entire country from your car. I think that's the best way to see America because like you don't see that from a plane. I mean, you can look out the window and see what you're flying over, like the flyover states or whatever they're called. But you don't get to experience America. I'm talking about, you get in your car, drive across that country. By the time you reach Kansas, you are up in America's ass. Seriously. You are you are all up in America at that point. You are seeing the raw America that most people don't see if they don't do this kind of stuff. Um, I I went camping, primitive camping in a tent in the middle of Kansas, and I'm so glad I did because that is an experience that I will never forget. And I wouldn't have done that if I wasn't doing this treasure hunt business. So yeah, it's kind of nice to have an incentive to do that sort of stuff because, like, I don't know, without like even nowadays, like when I go traveling and stuff, I'm like, I don't know, I don't know if I want to sit in a car for like 10 hours or something like that. But when you're going looking for a treasure chest out there in the woods and stuff, you kind of have that sort of incentive where you're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's sit in that car for 20 hours on a big old long road trip. This is gonna be awesome. Hey, Mama Q's in the house. Neat. Cool. Welcome. Mama Q, I've got your daughter's kitty done, and also the Harry Potter picture that I drew a long time ago. I found that, and I've got that all packaged up and ready to send to you guys. I just haven't been to the post office yet, so bear with me. I'll try to get that out this week. Um, it's not that I forgot about you guys. It's just I haven't I haven't been to the post office yet, so that is on its way at some point. We'll see. All right, so we got the basic um, Fennec fox, little tiny little desert fox. I know that he looks pretty rough now. That's just because of the process where we kind of like get the basic details in there. So now I think we're at a good point where I can come in and start adding some more details so that you can actually see the fox. So I'm going to start with his eyes. Get a little eyeliner in here, like JD Vance. That's my one joke. That's my one political joke. I wanted to make that political joke about the eyeliner, but and I'll move on. Get some eyeliner in here for this guy. This guy's got really dark around the eyes. I wanted a Fennec fox until I heard what it said. What does the fox say? I feel like I'm being set up here for a joke. Um, but he's got these really pretty black inset eyes. Jeremy Kool-Aid Man. What did I miss there? Why are you calling me kid Kool-Aid Man? I'm the Bourbon Man. I need to start actually you know, learning some more about the bourbons because people keep asking me about the bourbons that I drink and it's like I'm not really picky when it comes to bourbons, but I feel like I know enough about bourbons where I can give some recommendations. So I feel like I should probably brush up on that, kind of like actually give some like real recommendations. Like I'm not picky. I'll drink whatever, but because I drink so much, I probably should have an opinion. By drink so much, I mean I drink while I do my art. You know, it's not like I drink bourbon for breakfast, although that does sound nice. Not actually drinking bourbon for breakfast, but you can get like bourbon syrup for your pancakes. That is good. Basically, you can put bourbon in everything, and anything sweet ends up tasting good. Yep, 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 yep. That's what the fox says. Yeah, these guys are so adorable. So like, you know, my picture don't do them justice. You guys should look up some better pictures of them, but they are super adorable. Like, I want to go and see them out in the wild, catch them on like some YouTube videos where they're running out in the actual desert. So to explain the process for those people who tune in to, actually learn art, um, my process, like I go over it each time, but there's always new people, so forgive me if you've heard this stuff before. Um, Basically, I do the basic structure of whatever I'm drawing, the subject, with that blending stump, just to kind of get some shadows in there, so where I know where everything is. Then I kind of come back and add this detail, and well, actually, there's the order of things might differ a little bit. In this case, I'm adding detail just because I kind of wanted to see his face. But sometimes I actually jump in and I use like wet charcoal with like a brush to kind of smooth things in. I'll probably do that second here, but sometimes I do it out of order. Or I guess that would be the third step here. But sometimes I do it as the second. But I did want to kind of get a face in there, just so you guys have something to look at. I wanted to look cute. Oh, the Arctic Fox. I'm gonna have to look that up. Bourbon breakfast. Yeah. So bourbon breakfast. So it's not like you're having bourbon for breakfast. You're not drinking bourbon with your orange juice or anything. Oh, that does actually sound good. Bourbon with your orange juice. It's more like you can put bourbon in things. It's not for the alcohol. It's for the flavor. Um, like the bourbon flavor is really amazing in things like syrup. Um, let's see, Tyler's drawing my attention. No, I remember when you asked to draw the Kool-Aid Man for me a while ago. Oh, I totally forgot that, Tyler. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I get busy and I forget things sometimes. If you still want me to draw the Kool-Aid Man, I'm happy to. Just be sure to remind me sometime when I'm not doing the live stream. I probably won't do it like a Kool-Aid Man during a live stream, but I'm happy to draw you a Kool-Aid Man anyway. So just hit me up sometime. I'll do them. I totally forgot about that. You guys got to remember, us artists, we're like a flaky bunch. We don't. Um, Honestly, if I don't write something down, I forget it. So like it's tough for me to remember these things that you guys bring up during the live streams because obviously I can't write it down or make a note of it. Or maybe I could. Maybe I could have like a little notepad on the side. That's probably what I need to do. Anyway, I have no excuse, Tyler. I suck. You're right. So I do apologize. I remember you asking actually. There was somebody else who asked for like an odd request like that too, and I don't remember what. Just rest assured that I want to draw things for you guys, and I sometimes forget to do them because I suck. But I try really hard. My goal is incrementally to suck less. So my goal is never to not suck. Foxes remind me of Finn, especially Fennec foxes. That's like FF, right? Yeah, I'm in an FF mood today. I don't know why. So here we're just like lightly, smoothly adding additional shadow to the fur that wasn't here before, and it's a little bit different than the smudging because you get like smoother. Um, well, it depends on how you do it. You can get smoother like shadows doing it this way, or you can kind of like also get some. You right back there, buddy? Or you can also get some kind of fur texture as well by using the brush. So it is an awful lot watercolor, uh, like a dry watercolor. You're not like using the wet on wet kind of technique. This is more like using a dry brush. Um, I'm using basically a dry brush to do this, mostly because it looks cool and also because this is just mixed media paper. It's not actual watercolor paper or anything like that. So I wouldn't want it to warp too much or anything like that. But I do like this process because it kind of comes in and quickly gets in large areas. So like this ear, for example, I really want that to kind of at least be a little bit of a gray. I'll just kind of come in here and feather that nest, if you will. Hey, we got Glenna Friedman in here. Nice. Tommy says he'll DM me on Discord so I don't forget. Awesome. I appreciate that, man. Rum Dog says I don't suck. Ah, well, I don't know about that. Appreciate it, though. I think there's always room for improvement. So, I hope nobody takes offense when I say we all suck. Because we do. The the whole point is to suck less over time. So like, make improvement. That's actually what I'm about. I'm not the type of person who strives for perfection or, lies to themselves and says that they're great already or any of that stuff. My whole thing is there's a I don't know if this is the right use of the term, but there's a Japanese term called kaizen. It literally stands for a small improvement or good improvement or something like that. It's kai, which I think is good, and then zen is like action or something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't speak Japanese. But the point is that it's about incremental improvement. So like little tiny improvement. Um, I kind of have that as like a core philosophy in my life where, I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm not trying to be like really great at things out of the box. What I like is just the concept of progress in general. So if I do something long enough, then it'll be better. Again, perfection is not the goal. The whole goal is that what I do today, and this doesn't always work, by the way. So like literally what I'm doing today may not be better than what I did yesterday, but that's the goal. The goal is that what I do today is better than maybe not as recently as like yesterday, but maybe like last week. So what I do today is better than last week. That's the goal. And that's actually true. So like I feel like so I started this channel um doing art on in public. Uh, I started this in January of 2023 with the goal of doing art every day just to see if I can get better at it. And I'm happy to report here in 2024, flash forward 1 year, I do think I've gotten better. Maybe not that much better, but I think you can go back and look at my 2023 pictures. Please don't, but I think you could, and you would agree with me that 2024 Jeremy is better at creating art than 2023 Jeremy, and that's all it is. Kaizen, incremental improvements. So like over time, these little tiny changes, these little tiny improvements become major improvements, right? So like if I'm doing the back of this fox, for example, and I do like a little tiny little bit of fur there, eventually all of those improvements accumulate into large improvements. So that's my philosophy. If you're willing to, you can steal that. I won't mind. I recommend it to folks. Um, but I think it's a pretty good core philosophy, you know. Oops. Just keep improving. It's all about progress. I'm really big on progress. Like that's where I get frustrated in life. Like if I feel like things are stagnant and not progressing forward, I don't care if they're progressing fast or as long as they're progressing forward and not backwards, I'm good. That I just like things to progress. And they don't always. Like there are setbacks in life. Everybody has them. I have them. We're not immune to it. All of us are going to have medical setbacks at some point. There might be financial setbacks or whatever. So we're not always progressing forward. But if we keep that as a goal, like if I don't know, they say the journey of 1,000 miles begin with the first step. Well, it's probably more like, if you see out there and you're like, I want to get to there, like if you're looking 1,000 miles down the road, I think that's the first step. And yeah, as long as you're trying to progress, then it's all good. This is a perfect wind down after a 9-hour day. Yay for Jeremy and his art. Thanks, I appreciate that. Why was this fox stuck in the past? That's a great question. I feel like there's a joke coming. You guys are great with your jokes concerning the things that I'm drawing. So I would love to hear, why was a fox stuck in the past? It was a 20th century fox. That's good. I like that. That's awesome. You guys have the best jokes, really. I wish I'd memorized some of these before I come on, so I've got good material and I don't have to just like talk about like concepts like Kaizen and stuff. I can actually make some humorous jokes. This guy, I think he's on the adorable scale. I want one of these guys, a little Fennec fox. He, I don't know if they make great pets. Like I don't know. Like for all I know, these guys like smell terrible or whatever. They don't look like they smell terrible. They look like they smell like cotton candy. But for all I know, they're just like terrible. They're the worst guys in the world and stuff. But I don't think so. They look adorable to me. 20th century fox. Tyler said, I just messaged you on Discord for when you get off. I appreciate that, man. So this is, I like this part of the drawing process. Actually, I like all the parts of the drawing process, but I particularly like this part because this is where you start getting into like, I don't know, if it's like one of those old, by old I mean like, I don't know, 20 years old. It's not that far back. Those old Polaroid things where you get to watch it develop in real time. You shake the Polaroid picture and uh, the image comes out. That's what I feel like this part is, where you're taking something that didn't really have a lot of form to it, or like a lot for your eyes to latch onto, and you start bringing out the details. I like this part, and as you can see, it can go pretty quickly. Um, some people spend like hours and hours upon a drawing and stuff. Obviously, we don't have the luxury of doing that here on YouTube. I mean, you could sit here and watch me for 2 hours and stuff, or like, sorry, watch me for 10 hours draw a picture and stuff, I'm happy to do it if you guys are willing to watch that long. But let's be honest, on a Tuesday night, you're not gonna sit here and watch me for 10 hours. So need to have a drawing technique that happens a lot quicker. This is a good one for that, because you get a lot of like interesting um, effects into the picture. Makes it look pretty realistic without all the weight. Things happen pretty quick. One dog says they smell terrible because they're actually really cute and tasty. It's a defense. So you think they smell bad? Like that's the defense mechanism because they're tasty because they look like cotton candy and people want to eat them, or and other animals, I suppose. I mean, it's a desert, so like they do have predators, I'm sure. I think I saw a I think I saw something where foxes were messing around with snakes. And I think a fox in some video that I saw was taking on one of those honey badgers. And as you guys know, honey badgers, they just don't care. They'll fight with anything. If you get in a fight with a honey badger, you're gonna lose. And you might just lose out of sheer exhaustion. Like you might be able to take on a honey badger because of your size or whatever, but ultimately you're gonna lose that battle because that honey badger is just gonna like outlast you. I should draw a honey badger. I kind of want to draw a honey badger now. I'm like regretting drawing this fox. I'm gonna draw a honey badger. I just like saying honey badger. I'm sure you guys have seen the videos with honey badgers in them. They're super cute. Are you talking about the fox smelling terrible? No, we're talking about you smelling terrible, Tyler. No, I'm just kidding. It's the fox. It's the fox. I don't know if they smell terrible. I'll take your word for it. They look adorable though. Like this guy looks like he smells like sunshine and roses. I don't know what sunshine smells like. Yeah, sunshine definitely smells like something because like as soon as you walk outside, it just smells like it. So this is another little smaller blending stump. I just use it to kind of smooth out some of these details. So when you get into like areas like here, so there's still a bit of like ear there, but it's white. So you kind of have to work in like negative space. So I'm gonna try to like just put in some small lines to kind of give you the idea that it fluffs out over there. But really this is white, so I need to actually put in like a background, but I'm not gonna do that. I don't have time to put in a background. And plus I kind of like the style of these animals just kind of floating in the space. So instead what I'm going to do is kind of try to fluff out some fur here so that you know that that ear is actually bigger than what it appears. And I don't want to get crazy with it. I think that's just enough there. Get some more fur coming down through here. And then get a little bit of a under the eye shadow going into the nose here. Fluff that up. Yeah, we got face there. Jeremy, are you going to do a D&D drawing? So like a Dungeons and Dragons drawing? I mean, yeah, I've done a couple of dragons. What do you have in mind for like a D&D drawing? Because I feel like that's kind of like a like a genre almost, where you can go really far with it. Some of my so we were talking about favorite artists earlier. One of my favorite artists, just because I grew up with the guy, he was like on all the books I read, all the because I was into Dungeons and Dragons growing up. Larry Elmore, he was one of the principal illustrators, painters, whatever you want to call it, for TSR, I think. I forget the company that he worked with to do all those illustrations. But he did all the Dungeons and Dragons illustrations, and lo and behold, I got to meet him one year at a Comic Con, and I didn't even know he was going to be there. He showed up to the Comic Con, and I'm walking around, and I get to his booth, and I see that, like, I see all these dragons and stuff. I'm like, oh man, those are dragons. I remember those types of dragons, and I thought he was just like, a fan artist or something, like doing fan art in the style of Larry Elmore. But I'm looking at it, and then I look up at him, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're Larry Elmore. And it was just so awesome they say don't meet your heroes, but in this case, he was super nice. And it was really great to meet the guy, and I got a picture with him and everything. Like sometimes at these Comic Cons, they're kind of rude about that kind of stuff. But he was, like I said, super nice. He posed for a picture with me. Um, and yeah, I grew up with that guy's stuff. So like I am absolutely down for doing Dungeons and Dragons art because that's the kind of stuff that I drew when I was a kid. So yeah, I used to draw knights and like little like Robin Hood type characters with like the hoodies on and all that stuff, and wizards. I love drawing wizards because like you draw the big old robes, all the folds in the robes, lots of shadows and those type of things. The whiskers coming off this guy. I love Dungeons and Dragons stuff. Dragons, obviously, I've drawn a couple of dragons on this channel to greater or lesser degree of success. Um, so I am down for some art regarding Dungeons and Dragons. A man walking through the woods came across a suitcase. He opens it and finds three foxes. Not knowing what to do, he calls 911. The operator asks, "Are they moving?" Man replies, "I don't know, but that would explain the suitcase." That's good. All right, I'm going to read that one again. A man walking through the woods came across the suitcase. He opens it and finds three foxes. Not knowing what to do, he calls 911. The operator asks, "Are they moving?" The man replies, "I don't know, but that would explain the suitcase." Get it? That's good. That's good stuff, guys. You guys are great. That's good stuff. I got to remember some of it. So, again, one of the downsides of drinking during these things is I don't remember the next day a lot of what was talked about. But, this is recorded, so I can go back and watch it again. I'm going to have to remember some of these jokes because I want to tell them to others. These are some of the best jokes. So I kind of want to get some of the paw down here. Just kind of wispy doing this with the brush, almost like watercolor. Because I kind of want to get into down here where there is like a log that he's sitting on. So I kind of want to make sure that I leave time to get that log in there, just because it's got some cool texture. Part of it is like drawing the fox, because the fox is fun. Fox is fun. That's just fun to say. Fox is fun. But the other side of it is, I am practicing here, so I kind of want to like practice different things. And one of the things I wanted to practice was this log. So I'm going to try to get some of this log in here now. So underneath his tail should be pretty dark. So I realized I had more to do up here. I'm just kind of skipping ahead to like down here in the interest of time, which we still have plenty of time. I just want to get a little bit of a loggish look going here in terms of it's been a while since I painted things, and I really feel like I need to get back into doing that because I do enjoy it. We kind of get like a little rim of this log going with the paintbrush. Again, it's like I'm painting with charcoal, but it is an awful lot like painting with watercolor. Kind of some, I would say the similar techniques, but there's not really a technique here per se. I'm just you know, doodling with a brush, essentially. And this is a good way to just do like, I don't know, textured surfaces in general. Like this could easily be a rock that he's standing on or something. It really depends on like what it looks like when you put in the details themselves. Um, Keeping my brush really dry here just because I think that that might look like wood grain for the top of this. And it kind of does, so that's cool. Okay. And then maybe another little darker bit back here. All right, so I'm going to set that to the side. I'm not sure that I'm done with that, but I did kind of want to get I think get some darker areas back here. I'm just going to kind of like roughly put this in. So what I like about, sorry, I've got like a little bit of water over here. You guys haven't been seeing off camera. I dip, well, I've been dipping the paintbrush in there, but also I'm dipping my pencil in here just so that I can use that to kind of create this almost ink-like effect with my pencil. And I'm just very roughly kind of stabbing at the paper to get some of this detail in here that kind of looks like wood. Now you could spend the time drawing like individual flakes of wood or individual crevices and bark and all that jazz, but this works effectively to kind of just like you know just kind of let the pencil kind of dance on the page. I think it's kind of like probably overstating what is going on here, but I do like that way of looking at it. It's dancing on the page because that's what it feels like. It feels like the pencil is just kind of doing its own little thing, jumping around and stuff. Willie said it looked like a tree stump. Awesome. Glenda says I was hiking on a I was hiking years ago on a deer trail and felt something looking at me and looked up and it was a little fox. Awesome. So unfortunately, and I was kind of hoping the log would do it, but I don't know if it's being very effective at that. Maybe it's helping a little bit, but maybe not to the degree I was hoping. But I wanted to show the scale of this guy. He's so small. These oh crap, what are they called? These these fennec foxes. Yeah, these fennec foxes are so super small. They're like little rodents almost. Um, don't don't drink the water so fast, buddy. Um, I wanted to kind of show that these guys are super small. I don't know if that's really coming across in it. I was hoping the log might do that, but anyway, it's not your normal fox. These are like little tiny little guys. Again, these guys live in the Sahara Desert over in northern Africa. So if you guys live over there, like sometimes, I don't know, sometimes people come in here from overseas. If you've ever seen one of these in your day-to-day life or whatever, maybe you've seen them in a zoo or something like that, drop a comment and let me know how I did and where you saw one of these guys because I want to see one myself. Like if they have these guys at like a zoo in the United States, I would travel for that. I would like I don't know, travel a little distance at least to go and see one of these guys because they're adorable. Paid the guy $500 to make the video and do the joke. It's my best inappropriate work. What is he talking about? Honey Boo Boo, LOL. What happened to her? Honey Boo Boo, the TV character? Anyway, I don't know what you're talking about. Just kind of filling in some areas here so that it looks more woodish. That I feel like I make up some terms on here. Woodish. But anyway. All right, get some more detail. I don't want to spend like a lot of time down here on the log. That's not the main focus of the picture. But I do feel like the log, or the stump, I should call it stump. I don't know why I'm calling it a log. the tree stump that he's sitting on is an essential picture part of the picture, but it's not really the main focus. It's essential because and this is a concern in composition. I'm not saying this is the best composition in the world or anything like that, but these are the things that cross my mind when I'm thinking about composition. For one, it's in the original reference photo, so it's not like I'm making a big stretch to put them on a stump. But also, the stump gives you a sense of scale. So, like, it's really hard to tell what kind of tree this is or how big it would be and stuff like that. But you do see that the stump that he's sitting on is bigger than him. So you get that sort of impression. And again, like I said, this isn't like a video essay on the perfect composition for your art or anything like that. But I just want to kind of point out that the these type of things matter. When you want to show how small the little guy is, put him on something that kind of shows his his size. And I'm not sure that this is the most effective way to do it, but that was the idea at least. So again, you just kind of like scribble almost to get the texture here, and I think I'm doing a decent job of conveying that this is a tree stump versus a stone or something like that. But it's kind of the same idea. You just kind of like let your charcoal pencil, or you can use like a charcoal stick or something. I've got like a little stick here as well. You can kind of like, here, you can just kind of like let it dance on the page. I do this sometimes with my pastel pictures as well. So just kind of like drag these things down. So this is obviously way different than me, taking my time doing the eyes and stuff like that. This is more like, you know, letting things naturally happen in the picture. But, you're not going to win any awards for realism, but I think it looks cool and it kind of gives you like a loose sort of style that, you know, your job as an artist is to convey information. So as long as you successfully convey that this little guy is sitting on like a stump, you've done your job. So, then it's a matter of like personal preference on whether or not you did a great job or not. But your actual job of conveying that information is done, and you can rest. Dog's over here eating his toenails, or her toenails. Sorry. Bear is a girl. Let's see. Drop a comment and we'll talk more about the art thing at your. Oh, sorry. Oh, you're talking to Tyler. Yeah. So loose style, like drawing and stuff. It. I think it's less skill and more like letting go, right? So like I find, I'm not saying I'm a perfect expert at like drawing loosely or whatever, but I do know that it takes a lot of like, oh, just man, just getting over yourself and letting it happen, because if you overthink it, that's the exact opposite of what you're shooting for. Um, if I just take my pencil and I kind of just like pull it down, anything can happen. Something bad can happen. It can like go off the page. It can like not look exactly like what I want and stuff. But if I get over that mindset and I realize, well, most times it turns out looking okay, and I can make little adjustments if it doesn't, so that it does look halfway decent, then it'll end up looking like pretty cool actually. I think this looks like a stump. It looks like an old stump that little guy is just sitting on, and you kind of get a more defined curvature here. So we got a little bit of a stump going. Kind of define some of the paw stuff down here. Go back to my little brush because I think that'll look cool for the fur. Got these like little furry paws, you know. How are we doing on time? We're doing great. All right, so back behind the paw, right now he looks like he's blended with the stump. So the way we do that is we throw in these like little areas, especially right behind his paw, where there is a great deal of shadow, and that kind of like lifts him up a little bit out of the log itself, so that he's not like a wooden sculpture or something coming out of the stump he's sitting on. Then his back paw kind of looks like the rest of his fur, but again, just adding little bits of shadows and stuff so that you can kind of see the separation a little bit up in here. And then we'll come back with our brush and add some shadow areas. So I go back to the brush and the wet charcoal just because it's an easy way to put in this really smooth, um, darker areas pretty quickly. So like covering this area without having like a bunch of pencil marks or something like that, which are better served for like details. So if you want to show like detailed fur or something, you do want your pencil marks to show. Otherwise, you kind of want it to kind of like just all blend out and stuff. So in that case, as you can see, I put in like a decent amount of shadow pretty quickly. So let me put all this stuff to the side. I got so many tools here, they're like just getting in the way. We're gonna need a blending stump here in a minute. Because right through here, we've got this layer that makes up his, I don't know, I guess kind of like his shoulder, but no, I don't know, whatever it is. Maybe his thigh. I I don't know what these little guys have. Um, but in any case, there's another structural layer here that I have to carve out. It's like sculpting. Kind of sculpting something. He is cute and fluffy. Thank you, Willie. He is cute and fluffy. Or she. It could be a she. It is cute and fluffy. I love foxes. They're so adorable. So I haven't seen it in a long time, and it's kind of bumming me out. But the park I go to, there used to be a fox that lived out there. It was couple years back, so I'm pretty sure it moved on or something. I don't know the migration habits of foxes and stuff, so I don't know if like they live in the same general area forever. Like I don't see it anymore, so I don't know if I'm supposed to think that something happened to it, or I don't know enough about foxes to know whether or not it just kind of like moved on and things like that, which I know humans do. I don't know if foxes do that kind of stuff. But I like to think that it just kind of moved on and is out like traveling the is traveling the wild. As foxes do. They're like hobos. They catch a train and go out and see the world. And I don't know if foxes do that, but that's what I'm imagining. So he is looking kind of cute. I like this. I think it's looking pretty good. How are we doing on time? We're doing great on time, actually. So let me kind of define it a little bit more so that you know that this is actually another paw that's kind of coming up through here behind this other paw. Kind of blend all that in. So I think this is looking pretty good. Um, get back to the stump here. And then some shading through here. So, when you're doing shading, it's not rocket science. I'd like to, some people watch this stuff and they're like so amazed and everything like that. I love that they feel that way because I feel that same, wonder and awe when I watch other artists do work that I admire. So I appreciate it. I think it's great that you guys feel that sense of awe when watching my art. It's not lost on me how amazing that is. Um, I know it's a rare thing in life, so I do appreciate it. However, it's not rocket science, guys. Nothing I'm doing here is like magic or anything like that. It's just, when you're dealing with soft shadows, like the back of his leg, you basically use a blending stump. You use a blending stump, you put in those shadows. Again, you see that I'm not like super stressed about the details of it. I'm just putting in these shadows. And that's how I started the picture. I'm just filling in some areas that I missed. Again, it's not rocket science. Then, to add to that, you see that this is kind of like a little, blah. Like you don't really see anything for your eyes to latch onto. So you come back over it and you just gently build up some detail. Um, and again, like I said, it's not rocket science. That's all there is to it. You have soft shapes or soft shadows, and then you have some detail added over it, and it creates this like 3D effect where you have this like little shaggy fox, and then like the color of his fur, the shadow of his fur, and all of that underneath. And you just kind of go back and forth between adding detail and blending it out if necessary. And again, there's like a million different styles of pictures that you can do. That is the nuts and bolts of this particular style. I've been doing it for a little while. I've done a couple pictures like this, and it's always consistently like that. And that's what I love about it. It's like a consistent thing to create something recognizable that people would be like, oh, okay, Jeremy drew that, you know? I almost reached for it to drink out of it. Did you guys see that? Do not drink your paint water. Always drink your bourbon. Bourbon, paint water. Bourbon's better than paint water. Now, in this case, it's just charcoal. It's probably not going to kill you, but you should not be drinking charcoal water. It's not good for you. Hey, MJ. Sorry, I didn't see you come in. Hey, Alan's back. Cool. I would give up Forrest Finn's chest for your artistic skills. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's probably one of the better compliments I've ever gotten. Because we all wanted that treasure chest. That was a big deal. So I appreciate that, man. I would give up Forrest Finn's treasure chest for your fishing skills because I have seen you bring in some pretty big fish. That was another thing I was considering drawing tonight, but I don't know if I'm there yet. Like I've drawn all kinds of different animals and stuff like that. The characteristics of a fish, unless you're doing like a bass where there's like a lot going on and stuff. Like I was wanting to draw maybe like like a brown trout. I don't fish myself, so I'm not that super knowledgeable about different kinds of fish. But I thought maybe I'd draw like a brown trout. But I was concerned that there wasn't enough detail, there wasn't enough there for me to actually do like a live stream out of it. I could draw a fish, I think, but I don't know if I can, you know, draw that over the course of like an hour or two. I don't know how long it would take, but it didn't seem like it would take a long time for me to do. There's not like a lot of features there or details. So expect me to draw a fish at some point, but I'm not ready for that yet. I don't think. Um, let's see. Alan says, if I drew a fennec fox, it would look like a chupacabra. Hey, I'm happy to draw a chupacabra. There's been conflicting reports on what a chupacabra looks like. Maybe I'll like make a commitment and do my own interpretation of a chupacabra, especially with Halloween coming up. I'm all about chupacabras. I like it when people do that. Artists kind of like do like almost a monster manual where they interpret like cryptids and things like that. I would love to do that, honestly. Like if I ever do a book of art, that would be something I would be interested in doing. Just doing like a lot of like mythological creatures or uh, cryptozoological creatures. I think that's what they're called. But that would include Chupacabra, Bigfoot. I love those type of characters. Um, Mothman. Mothman would be great. That would be awesome. I would need to get some red for that, for the eyes, glowing eyes. But you see, we're just building a like layers. Like you can scrub back and notice that this was like kind of non-descriptor here, and just adding the shadow here in his or whatever midsection. I guess this is. I suck at like anatomy, but just adding to that over time and stuff, it kind of builds up the uh, the animal in the picture. And then, sometimes it kind of like looks a little rough, so you can kind of smooth it out with your finger, or you can smooth it out with blending stump, whatever works. You could take a while drawing a trout because it has a lot of different shapes on it and scales. Plus, you can draw the water and the flying rocks. Yeah, so that was the other thing. So I want to draw aquatic animals, even beyond doing fish like a brown trout. I want to do like dolphins and whales and sharks and stuff like that. But I think I would have to draw them so with a trout or like a bass or something, you can draw it jumping out of the water, like trying to catch a like an insect or something like that. But if you're doing, sharks and stuff, unless you're drawing a shark eating somebody, it really should be drawn in the water itself. And I haven't quite figured out how to make that happen yet. Like I'm not sure, should I do that in pastel and color and stuff and rely on the color of like the background to give you the sense that you're in the water or some other thing. So I haven't figured out my approach to that yet. That said, it is on my list of things. So I like to challenge myself, but then sometimes I'm like, well, let's think this through a little bit before you do it. Because I don't mind failing on camera, like that's part of the gig. Um, but if I can avoid it, I really would like to. Because there's been some times when I've drawn some pretty bad pictures. Some of you regulars who have been here for a minute, you guys have seen these happen. I'm happy to say that they don't happen as often as maybe they did at the beginning, but I have drawn some pretty bad things. It just didn't work. I still grin and bear it. I still make it through the show, and you guys are very, very nice and not beating me up for it. But there have been some unsuccessful attempts at drawing things before. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It can be rough to do water. So maybe I should start because I want to do these anyway. Start with doing some seascapes, doing some outside the water looking in kind of deals just to kind of like build up to drawing an underwater picture. Because I do want to do that. I totally do. I just not sure yet how I would approach that. But that's also kind of a cop out because well, like doing like a trout or something like that, you don't necessarily have to do them underwater. You can do them on the surface or jumping out of water or something like that, which kind of negates most of my complaints here or my excuses for not doing it. Basically, long story short, I have no excuses. I should just grin and bear it and do it. Yeah, I don't let myself off the hook. Um, if I don't have a legitimate excuse not to do something, then I probably should just do it. I do like to challenge myself, so it's also like unfamiliar shapes. Whenever I take on unfamiliar shapes that I've never done before, it's kind of dicey. It could go either way, but that's how you practice, or that's the point of practicing, really. You know, some of the stuff becomes like muscle memory, I guess, in my hands. I guess I don't know. It's not like I put a lot of thought into what I'm doing. It just happens. And I do think that some of it is just muscle memory, and I think that does come from just like practice. You know, this guy's looking super cute, guys. I love him. He's adorable. I have to ask you guys, like I usually do whenever I'm doing somebody's like non-pet. So like if I'm doing somebody's pet and it already has a name and stuff, I don't ask like which I named this, but whenever I'm doing a guy like this where it's just I don't know, something I just felt like drawing, um, you know, I I I think it's fun to like ask for like a name. So if you guys have any names that come to mind looking at this guy, I am definitely willing to take suggestions. And, feel free to drop them in the comments below, later on after the show, whatever feels right to you guys. But if we can get a name for this little guy, that would be awesome. It can be tough to do water. I think it would be tough for me to do water. I want to do a seascape. I want to do water on a beach with like little ripples in it and all that stuff in a convincing way. I've got those pastels. I really wanted to use those pastels to do landscape pictures. I started doing some, and then I haven't done any in a while. I used to do those on Saturdays. I might get back into doing that soon. I don't know. On Saturdays, I just feel so lazy. Like I'm all about productivity, but then on Saturdays, I just feel like I don't know. I just don't want to do anything. Maybe that'll maybe that'll change as we start getting into the colder months. Yeah, that probably will change actually. Now that I think about it, because I like going out on weekends just because it's been so nice. So anyway, maybe I'll start taking on some seascapes when I get back into doing landscapes this winter. I'm such an adorable creature. All right, how we doing on time? All right, so we're coming up on like an hour and 30 minutes. I should probably find, a good stopping point here soon, just because I don't want to overwork them. But I like pictures like this where I end up getting the entire animal in. Like a lot of times I just kind of focus on the face and the torso and things like that. Like a nice little crop portrait area. But it's refreshing for me to come in and do like a full figured animal like this sometimes. I'd like to do more of these. I don't always think to do the composition that way, but I'm glad that I did in this case. Just because I think this guy looks pretty good. I kind of wish, and I can't really do it now, but I wish that I had something else in this to kind of show the scale of this little guy because he is super small. He's a small guy. He's got a little man complex, whatever you want to call it. He's not a very big guy. He's super adorable. It's a beautiful, bright full moon. Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out later. I love looking up at astronomy is my thing. Like I love all the astronomical events we've had this year. I don't know if any of you guys were able to see it, but the aurora borealis came down a lot further down south than it usually did. We had the eclipses here. This has been a good year for astronomical events. I love watching this stuff. I've got a telescope. I enjoy using it. That's my thing. I don't always get a chance to, but I love it when I do. Um, Hey Margie. Margie says, "Don't forget to hit the like button." I appreciate that. Thank you. I always forget to like ask people to do those things, so I appreciate the reminder. Yeah, if you guys enjoy watching this stuff, I mean, I do this twice a week. It's not like I'm going anywhere. If you guys don't do these things, it's not like I'm going to quit and like say, "Oh, nobody loves me." Yeah, I'm going to keep doing this stuff just because I enjoy it, and I actually learn through doing these things. So like the more I do it, the better I get at it, or the more comfortable I feel with it. I don't know if I get better at it per se, but the more I do these drawings, the more comfortable I feel with it. So I'm going to keep doing these anyway. But yeah, I do appreciate it if you guys if you guys enjoy this stuff. Please hit the like button. And if you're new here, you've never been here before, welcome. Appreciate it. It's a pretty good community here. Most everybody gets along. Some of you guys are like actual close friends, which I think is awesome. Coopart says, "Shout out Jeremy. Thanks for making a good day a great day." Thanks, I appreciate that. Um, but yeah, if you're new here, we do this twice a week. We do it on Tuesday evenings, 8 o'clock on the East Coast of the United States. And then we come back and we usually do it on Thursdays. Every now and then I might have to cancel because I got something else going on, but I try to let you guys know through the community tab. So the best thing to do is subscribe so that you get like a notification that I'm on. And then also check that community tab if you're wondering where I'm at, because like if I decide that I have to cancel for some whatever reason, I'll put like a notice on that community tab. And then every now and then when I remember to, it's been a while, I think, since I posted anything, but whenever I remember to, I'll post the artwork that I worked on up there. So Tuesdays and Thursdays is my normal gig. Sometimes sometimes I'll come on a Saturday if I'm not that busy. And I really want to do more of these. I want to do more standalone videos, not just the live streams. Those have been rare just because I haven't really found a lot of time. I like to do shorts. I haven't done a short in a while either. Like I feel bad because I also I also take these videos and I kind of condense them down to like 30 seconds, and I make the shorts here for YouTube, but I also like put them up on TikTok and I put them up on Instagram. And I haven't done that in a little while, and I kind of feel bad because some people exclusively check out my stuff there, so they probably haven't seen anything in a while. So I got to remember to do that. But anyway, I try to remember these things. I'm just a dumb, flaky artist. What can I say? I'm starting to embrace that. Like, I'm just a dumb, flaky artist. What can I say? There's nothing I can do about it. Kind of take some of the pressure off. But anyway, so I do think I'm about done here. Just because I don't want to overwork it. I like that it's got this kind of like loose style to it. I really like this. Like, honestly, I like this style. Oh, sorry. Sometimes I do the little splotch bit. I'm not gonna create like overdo it this time, just because I like this bit going on down here. But I do like adding these little de-stressing kind of grungish techniques. So put that kind of in there, and it looks a little more like natural and naturey. I think it looks pretty cool with the whole effect. So anyway, I don't want to overdo it on this particular picture, but I'm kind of known for putting these things in these charcoal pictures, so I don't want to like let people down and not do these. So just get a couple of these things going, maybe a little bit more. And what I'm doing here is I'm just grabbing my charcoal stick, taking my paintbrush, getting it kind of wet, and then just flicking it with my thing. And it gives it this natural kind of like grungish look to it without like overdoing it. So I'm going to stop before I overdo it. But I do like that look. You end up with charcoal all over your fingers. It sucks. I do like this look down here. I think that's a pretty cool look. If I ever did like a comic book or something like that, and I wasn't doing it like in digital, which I do sometimes, but I prefer like traditional art. If I was doing like a comic book or something, I would like this kind of like loose style, because the thing is, like when doing a comic book, you have like a lot of pages that you have to cover. So you have to draw pretty quickly, and you have to keep it kind of loose and not spend a ton of time on various things. So I do like this for like doing scenery and stuff and that sort of thing. But anyway, let's see if there's anything I missed in here. Hey Heidi, how's it going? Um, yeah. So Rum Dog says nice piece. Kid said looks so cute. Thanks. Is it scoopable though? That's the thing. Is this one scoopable? Um, I'll go ahead and answer for it. Yes, yes, it's scoopable. All right, so I think this is probably a pretty good stopping point. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Again, you guys are an awesome crowd. You guys make this worthwhile. Without you guys, I probably wouldn't be doing this. I mean, I would probably still be drawing, but I wouldn't be posting on YouTube. It's because you guys are awesome that I do this. But anyway, I appreciate it. You guys are the best. I will be back on Thursday. I don't know what I'm going to work on yet. I do kind of have like a backlog. I've been saying I'm going to get Ben's drawing done for a while now. I really need to get that out the door as well. But we'll see. On Thursday, I might, I might want to do a seascape. I don't know. I might want to do underwater sharks or whatever. Who knows? We'll find out. But if you're kind of curious what I'm going to do, show up on Thursday and we'll find out. Again, if you're new here, hit that like and subscribe, and then you'll get a notification so you'll know whether I'm here or not. A honey badger, that's a great idea. I am definitely doing a honey badger at some point just because of this like whole style I've been doing. Honey badgers would be great for this style because they're already black and white, so it's going to be perfect. All right. Anyway, I will see you guys then. Have a great week. I will see you guys on Thursday. Have a good one. Bye. Thanks.